Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now. High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future.
Every word matters.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
My name is Mr. Innocent Chugoma. I started by trading on motorcycle spare parts.
They really ask, how much is the Nigerian life worth?
Policing is everybody's business, not the business of the men on uniform alone.
We will establish student loan 4 years course. Must be 4 years course.
When you dispense, a pharmacist dispenses a drug to a patient, the name of the drug must be written on the envelope.
On Record is a 45-minute program where we discuss the actions, inactions of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview.
Join us 9 a.m. every weekday on your urban lifestyle station, High Impact 102.1 FM. On Record.
Every word matters. Hello and welcome to On Record, where every word matters, right here on High Impact 102.1 FM. We are live on YouTube and on X. I am Vivian Oguche. On the program, we discuss the actions, inactions of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview. Now, the program also encapsulates personalities and institutions that make decisions that affect the lives of people one way or the other. And then we also avail you, our listeners, and of course the viewer, the opportunity to call in and make your views known. Now, hate speech, a toxic brew of intolerance and discrimination, has long been recognized as a corrosive force within societies. While its emotional and psychological toll is undeniable, the economic and societal costs are often overlooked. This insidious form of communication not only erodes social fabric, but also undermines economic growth and development. Now, beyond the headlines of individual incidents, hate speech casts a long shadow, impacting communities, businesses, and governments. It creates a climate of fear and division, hindering investment, stifling innovation, and eroding trust. Now, the economic consequences are far-reaching, from reduced tourism to increased insecurity, right? From reduced tourism to increased security costs. Now, but the damage extends beyond the balance sheet. Hate speech fractures communities, fuels social unrest, and can lead to violence and psychological scars inflicted on victims, and the broader societal trauma are immeasurable. In this exploration, we will delve into the tangible and intangible costs of hate speech, examining its impact on economies, societies, and individuals. By understanding the full extent of this form of problem, we can begin to develop effective strategies to combat it and build a more inclusive and prosperous future. Now, the phone line is open 0700 1021 1021. You can send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. Now, we are live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also watch us live on High Impact TV on Nicomsat 42 degree east. We take a breather, and when we return, the conversation begins. Stay with us. Welcome to On Record.
Every word matters.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
My name is Mr. Innocent Chuguma. I started by trading on motorcycle spare parts.
They really ask, how much is the Nigerian life worth?
Policing is everybody's business, not the business of the men on uniform alone.
We will establish student loan 4 years course. Must be 4 years course.
When you dispense, a pharmacist dispenses a drug to a patient, the name of the drug must be written on the envelope.
On Record is a 45-minute program where we discuss the actions, inactions of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview.
Join us 9 a.m. every weekday on your urban lifestyle station, High Impact 102.1 FM. On Record.
Every word matters.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now. Is now. High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Welcome back. The show is On Record, where every word matters on High Impact 102.1 FM. We are live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also watch us live on High Impact TV on Icomsat 42 degree East. Now, to join the conversation, you can call 0700 1021 1021. I take that again, 0700 1021 1021. Or you can send your messages right to via WhatsApp to 0907 224 5018. Let me take that again, 0907 224 5018. The topic of the day is the economic and societal costs of hate speech. And joining us live is Steve Aya. He is a journalist with This Day newspaper. Steve, it's so good to have you join us on the show today. Good morning.
Good morning to you, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm very well. And how are you?
I'm very, very well.
Awesome. Now, as a journalist, who better to discuss this than you? So let me begin. Let's start from the beginning. How costly is hate speech?
Hate speech is very, very costly. Both economically, socially, and even psychologically, yes.
All right.
The costs are enormous, actually.
All right. So do you want to explain that a little bit? You said both economically, psychologically, and what now?
Socially.
Socially. Let's break that down. What do you mean when you say that?
When we talk about socially, we're talking about a collection of people mingling together and becoming one, united by a common purpose. But where you have hate speech coming in, people begin to get divisive in nature, and it could affect every strata of development that they intend to do, and that gets into the economics of the matter. where people needed to pool resources and funds together to be able to achieve a certain thing, you discover that they cannot do it because of the presence of hate speech. And of course, when we talk about psychological, it could lead to people going mental.
Yes.
Mixing there, because you are degrading somebody with your words, and you are literally bringing him down to next to nothing. And that, except if somebody is strong-minded, that could bring him down completely, and you could just render him useless for the rest of his life.
And that's a serious matter. People do not realize how powerful words are, right?
Yes, of course, people don't. People have not. People have not taken it, they've not weighed it up to look at its effect, actually. They don't.
So your words can either... Yes, go ahead, please.
And what I'm trying to say that if you want to look at the effect, try, if you meet somebody who understood the power of words, if you say some nasty things to him, the way he will react, you will know that, look, you've gone to a level where you shouldn't go to. Yeah. So it can be that bad.
I'm so glad you brought this up. So it's good for our listeners and the viewer to realize that your words can either kill a person or give that person life. Now, Stephen, based on your experience, would you please give us an example of hate speech?
Okay. Maybe let me try and see whether I can make it personal, so that people can understand exactly where we're going to.
Yes.
When I was a young boy, I had neighbors.
Yes.
Complete Nigerian. I have a Hausa Fulani man who is a Muslim. I had an Igbo guy who is a perfect gentleman as far as I'm concerned. I don't think I've seen any like him. We had Yoruba guys. I'm a middle belt guy, right? Born in Jos and grew up in Jos. So that's where my house is. Now I had this. There was a day I came back from school quite early, and the reason was very, 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 very simple. My father was defaulting in school fees, and this Igbo chap looked at me in the face and, "Where are you coming? Why are you not in school?" I said, "Well, they sent me back home because the school fees has not yet been paid." The man was supposed to go out for his own business. He left his business aside, and then he took me to the school, where even though he was confronted by the principal and said, "You are not his father," he said, No. It's not about me being his father. I came here to pay his school fees."
Wow.
And he paid my school fees. And when my father went to see him, what he told my father, he said, "You have done the same thing to me and my family on different occasions. So why wouldn't I pay your child's school fees? By the way, who told you he is your child?" Right? Now, fast forward it to some few couple of years back, I think in the 2022, 2023, 2022, during the crisis in Jos and all those things, like that. This same Igbo guy, are you getting me? Serious talk.
Yes.
This same Igbo guy sheltered the house of any guy. By the way, they have relocated. We have all relocated. But I got to know because I was close to his son. He sheltered the house of Fulani guy in his house. So they ran out of food. And this same Igbo guy now said, "Okay, look, you know what? The town is hot. Me, I'm going to take the risk. Let me go buy some grains for us to eat. You stay home here." He left the Hausa Fulani guy in his house with his wife and two other young dependents that have been brought in from the east for him to stay, because his children have all gone out. One of them is in the US, the other one is here with me in Lagos. We see once in a while and all those things like that. While he went to do that, by the time he came back, the Hausa Fulani guy with his who was being sheltered by his friend, by this man with his family, opened the door and allowed fundamentalists to enter inside the house and kill that man's wife and two different dependents.
Oh Lord!
And when this man was saying, "Why did you do it?" and he said, "Why wouldn't I do it? After all, you are not one of us." You look at that thing cost that man his early death. And as I'm talking to you right now, the son that is here with me in Lagos that we are communicating is pulling away from. He said, "Look, he doesn't know that people are like this. It has affected him psychologically." So that is how bad such kind of hate speeches can go.
Oh, Steve, thank you. Please go ahead.
When I went to Jos last year, I was able to go. I saw the Hausa man in prison, and I visited him, and he told me, he said, "My brother, I heard what people say, and I followed what people say. I ended up killing somebody who was my benefactor. I'm sorry. I didn't know how it happened." So this is how bad hate speech can go.
Wow. I see you have me almost speechless. I'm telling you, that story you told was just so touching. Now the kindness of that man practically cost him his life and that of his dependents.
Yes.
Let's fast forward to 2024 now in Lagos, where you have hashtag Igbo must go. That's a form of hate speech, right?
Yes, of course it is.
What's your take on that?
It's absolutely barbaric. I mean, the truth of the matter on the ground is no society. Now let me come back to this saying. There is this general saying that a tree can never make a forest. So you need several other trees to make a forest. The tall ones, the short ones, the small shrubs, and grasses, and everybody. You need it to become a forest. So the so-called Igbo must go thing is, as far as I'm concerned, is the most barbaric speech you can ever hear or say. No society develops on its own. You need a lot of people. Go to developed countries like America, you discover that there is hardly any race in the world that does not have a representative or a family member in the US. And together, they pull the plug together, they work together to develop their country. It's the same thing almost everywhere. Today, in Britain, we just had an Indian prime minister. Whoever thought of it some 20 years ago, that an Indian man can become a prime minister in Britain? Yes, he is a prime minister in Britain. Another Indian man is a prime minister in Scotland. You need diversity. Diversity of ideas, diversity of people to pull together to be able to make progress. So any group of people who believe that they can progress beyond their own limited capacity because they think they are superior enough, they are just deceiving themselves.
Very well said. In fact, take a look at what happened in South Africa not too long ago. Xenophobic attacks against other foreign nationals. Nigerians were victims too. And then take a look at what happened in Rwanda years ago, the genocide due to the fight between the Hutus and the Tutsis. It all began because of hate speech, right? This is just to let the viewers and the listeners understand the gravity of what we are talking about, right? So can you talk about that a little bit? For example, what happened in Rwanda, where millions lost their lives because someone went on radio and began calling people cockroaches. How would you... Yes, insightful statements like that. I want you to talk on that a little bit.
It's smart because it makes it annoying to find a human being calling another fellow human being a cockroach. Apart from there, I've seen Donald Trump call people aliens, and I wonder if he's not an alien himself. You know, and a lot of people in this part of the world are saying yes. How can somebody just degrade you just because he feels he's higher than you? He opens his mouth and he degrades you, and you are there clapping for him. Now, if he gets the power he said he wants to get, what makes you feel that you'll still be alive at the next moment? You see, what happened in Rwanda is a typical thing that can happen. The Tutsis and the Hutus they speak virtually the same language. Their differences is just in dialect, and then probably in terms of structure. Some are taller, some are shorter. But all those things, but you understand what I'm saying? That is almost the same thing that is happening here in Lagos. Oh, we own Lagos. You that is beating your chest, you own Lagos. Fine, yes, you are an indigent. But how many of those skyscrapers have you built? How many of the roads did you construct? How the economic tendencies that Lagos is booming, what is your stake in it? That you are telling another person who is also contributing towards the development of the state to go away because you don't like him. If he goes away, hey, will you do the job? Can you do the job? You see, a lot of, but you see, the whole thing there boils down to one thing. There is this politics of me, myself, and my people only. And when you find a politician beginning to say, it's our turn, and he's ready to use all kind of sentiment to get people to believe in his own personal dream, just know that that person is a destroyer of the future. He has nothing under his list than to get into that office and now tell himself, I have arrived. And that's the kind of politics that we're playing in this country today, which is not right. You say, those people, what do they have? What do they know? I beg. Even if you have the best brain in that place, telling you, Oga, this road you are taking is wrong. Let's do it this way, and we'll arrive there. You say, what do you know? You run him down with your mouth because you feel you don't need him. If you get him there, because of the volume of knowledge and his capacity to withstand hardship and his abilities to hustle, he will outrace you. You are not looking at the benefit for the entire society, for your children, for your grandchildren. You are looking at the here and now. And that is what has always gotten us, as Nigerians, into trouble.
Let's take a look at the role of social media when it comes to hate speech, where somebody just goes behind a computer or picks up his or her phone and types messages, very insightful ones, without thinking of the cost implications or the rest. I want you to explain how dangerous this is before we begin to make recommendations as to how to curb hate speech.
Actually, the social media has... that's why, personally, I try to run away as much as possible.
I notice you don't even do social media.
I try to run away as much as possible because... can I say 100% of the people in the social media are mad people?
Oh, no, you can't say that because that's hate speech.
Yes, I know, but, when you find somebody who is looking at something that is obviously white and straight, and then he is trying to, bend it just because he feels that if it's not going my way, then it should not go other people's way. You begin to ask yourself, what's the level of intellect of such a human being? Is he thinking of the collective or is he thinking of the single individual? If you're thinking of the collective, then you must know that, okay, if it doesn't work with me, probably my own ideas are wrong. Let me ask this person's idea, let me seek his own idea, and let's see whether we'll be able to find a much more perfect solution to this crisis that I'm having. But if you stick to yourself and it must be my way or no way, then that's when you begin to run down people and you begin to think that the idea that everybody is spreading is wrong. And that thing affects people. If you look at the growth of ISIS, it was done via the social media. They couldn't sell their idea to the people in the street. It was sold via the social media, and it caught fire. There are a lot of other radical ideas that are being sold via the social media, and it is also catching fire. The social media has its own positive side. But on that very other side, it is negative. And part of the reason why I think it's so is because man generally is a social being, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is this need to socialize and to mix up with people and all those things like that. But whereas on the physical level, one-on-one, you look at people with such weird ideas and you want to I don't want to get associated with them. Those ones that come on the platform of the social media, they don't just start by giving you their weird ideas, right? They start by trying to be friendly, trying to get into you. And once they succeed in getting into you, then they start showing these weird ideas and they will now tell you, believe me, it works. It works for me and I know it will work for you. How do you know it will work for me? The circumstances we are living in are different. If, let's say, for example, you are staying in America where you can use $5 to get lunch and dinner and you are okay with it. My goodness me, here in Nigeria, 1,500 naira cannot buy me comfortable lunch. Not to talk of dinner. So we are living in two different worlds where the situation are absolutely different. You get me? But because you came into my life and you like came in as a wolf, and then before I know it, you now unveil yourself as a lion. Of course, you are going to chew me up, and that's what has been happening in social media. That's why, whereas somehow, if you want to look at it, if I look at this idea of gagging the social media, sometimes I'll say, well, it is on the right side. But then if you look at it again, well, it's on the wrong side because you are blocking freedom of speech.
Yes. So there's a fine line between regulating social media and interfering with freedom of speech.
Yes. There is a very thin line, very, very thin line.
Now, there's
the thin line,
yes,
just like the thin line that existed between love and hate.
Absolutely. Now, there's something you said earlier on that people say stuff, hateful things, and people will laugh and clap their hands. That's dangerous, right?
Yeah, that's dangerous.
So how should people who make hateful speeches, how should they be treated?
First and foremost, you can't even begin to treat them in any way because you need to understand the psychology of that person. What's making that person think that way or come through that way or come up with such kind of speech? What is the reason behind such a thing? If you are able to get to the reason behind such a thing, then you will be able to say, okay, you can begin to provide solutions to such things. But if you can't get behind those things, you will be providing solutions that may not necessarily work at the end of the day for you. Because as you are jumping to point B, he is already in point D. By the time you are trying to catch up with him in point B, he has gone to Z. So the most important thing is to get to find out the reasons behind such hate speech.
Very well said. I mean, we've been able to establish the societal and economical costs of hate speech. We'll take a short break, Steve. When we come back, we'll begin to make recommendations. Now, one of the questions I'm going to be asking you is, what would you say are effective strategies to combat hate speech? This, among other questions, I'll be asking you after this short break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to On Record.
Every word matters.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
My name is Mr. Innocent Chuboma. I started by trading on motorcycle spare parts.
They really ask, how much is the Nigerian life worth?
Policing is everybody's business, not the business of the men on uniform alone.
We will establish student loan 4 years course. Must be 4 years course.
When you a pharmacist dispenses a drug to a patient, the name of the drug must be written on the envelope.
On Record is a 45-minute program where we discuss the actions, inactions of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview.
Join us 9 a.m. every weekday on your urban lifestyle station, High Impact 102.1 FM. On Record.
Every word matters.
Welcome to the high side of life.
Welcome.
Join us every day at High 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
I just want to be here.
Tease your taste buds from a world of delectable choices. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now. High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now. High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Well, you are welcome back. The show is on record where every word matters on High Impact 102.1 FM. You can watch us live on High Impact TV on Nicomsat 42 degree east. We're also live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. I am Vivian Uguche. We're still discussing the economic and societal costs of hate speech with journalist with This Day newspaper, Steve Aya. Steve, thank you so much for jumping on the show today. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right, so like I promised earlier on, I was going to ask this question. What would you say are effective strategies to curb hate speech?
The strategies to deal with hate speech will begin from the people themselves.
Mm-hmm.
People need to appreciate the kind of neighbors they have. People need to look at the positive nature or the positive side of their neighbors, the positive side of the society generally. I do understand that there is a lot of anger in the society. It's not just in Nigeria, it's worldwide. I mean, if you look at the way, let's say, Donald Trump is going about his campaign with a lot of anger and hate speech, throwing at Democrats and throwing at people generally the world over. And then if you compare that with the way the Democratic Party ticket runner is also running her own campaign, where she's smiling and she's talking and everybody is smiling and all those things, then you will see that there is a whole lot of difference. But like I said, people need to look at their people. You need to look at the positive side of your neighbor. You need to look at the positive side of your friend. It's not for you to always be on suspicion. Oh, what is he going to do now? Oh, what is he doing now? Why is he doing what he's doing? This and that and that. No. If you look at the positive side of your neighbor all the time, then you will be able to appreciate his own contribution or her own contribution to things, and you will be able to appreciate life generally. life needs to be appreciated. You are not really in a war. Even if you consider yourself being in a war, you are not in a war with anybody. You are in a war with yourself. You need to find peace within yourself first. And finding peace within yourself means appreciating your children, appreciating your wife, appreciating your neighbors, appreciating the people around you, and knowing very well that you don't have to go to that level of having to use vulgar words and curses and insults before you express your annoyance over a certain thing that is being done. It can be done in such a way that even that person that you are criticizing or you're expressing your anger with will understand the fact that, look, I think I really hurt this guy and I need to apologize.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
If we're able to get,
can you just hold on? Let me quickly pick this call and then we'll get back to talking. Good morning. Thanks for calling. What's your name, please? Hello? All right, I lost that call. Please do well to call us back. Yes, Steve, please continue with what you were saying.
So if you are able to get to that level, then you will be able to you will see that you as an individual, you will begin to enjoy your neighbors, you will begin to enjoy the little society where you belong to. And then from there, we can all expand it out.
Wow.
It must not be negative. Find something positive within your society, appreciate it, smile, and things will work out well. That's the beginning of things. You don't have to get so angry and disenchanted about whatever is going on. Like the way things are going on in this country right now, a lot of people are getting annoyed by everything else. But if you get annoyed by everything else, there is really nothing you can do about those things. So appreciate what you need to appreciate, feel good about it, feel good about the society, and then you will find yourself smiling again.
I like that. Now, what I hear you say is transfer of aggression could also be one of the factors responsible for people making hate speeches, right? So yes, this means that emotional intelligence is necessary, right?
It's very necessary, yes. Emotional intelligence is very necessary. Let me give you a quick example, a quick one.
Okay.
The present government is being described by most Nigerians as not performing, right? Now, the situation is, if somebody says, government is not performing this and that, and you say, well, don't you want to vote on me? What you're indirectly trying to do is to tell the other person that the negativity in the society right now, he is responsible for it. Now, if the person is not strong mentally, he might be forced to accept it, and you will begin to think, this is what happened,
Yeah.
But if you want to look at it very well, say, we are all facing it together, bro. Let's find a way to move our life forward, bro. You have consoled yourself with that speech.
Yeah.
You have also consoled him, so he will be able to now sit down at the table and say, okay, come, let's drink this mineral, or let's drink this water. Okay, how do we find a way forward out? And before you know, you discover that you people have come to a consensus idea of how to make your own life, the two of you, better. And by the time you are moving forward and you are making it better, you might even share it with other friends and family members again. And that's how the society will just become a progressive society. We need to accept each other, not to allow politicians and those people who are looking for power by every means and by all means sow seed of discord and disunity amongst us.
Very well said. This brings me to my next question. How do you think education can play a role in preventing hate speeches?
Education is very important, but unfortunately, our education these days is being grossly limited by the expensive nature of education itself. I'm talking about good quality education. I'm not talking about the so-called free education that the government these days says it offers, and you have teachers who are not dedicated for reasons best known to everybody also within the country. But you find out that those that are rich enough, they spend good quality money to acquire good quality education. Now, good quality education, what it does to you is that it opens your eyes to see a lot of things. It opens your faculty of thinking to be able to balance whatever situation that you see available and then find reasonable solutions to such problems. That's what good education does to you. And education is highly key in developing and moving forward into a progressive field.
Very well said. So as we wrap this up, Steve, this is my last question. As a journalist, what role do you think the media should play in addressing hate speeches? As a gatekeeper, how do you manage it?
Well, we in the media, I think we're doing our best.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also being backed by the interest of the media owners.
Mm-hmm.
Since the media generally is not a government forte, we have most of us that have been able to pick out, we're picking out from a private sector private sector media. But then when you look at it also very well is that if what you are doing is not in sync with what the owners of the media station have in mind or are proposing to do, then you may just run into another set of trouble. So it becomes a serious question of balancing whatever you needed to do in order to be able to pass your messages across to the people in the street. And that is what I think most media units, not just here in Nigeria, but worldwide, are doing, trying as much as possible to balance the situation. And then, of course, you have the government side who will insist that it has to be their own ideas or else you cannot operate. So the media really have to find a middle way around. And I think we have been doing that regardless of the fact that sometimes we will still offend the ruling government, wherever they are, for whatever they think that they need to carry. But at least above all things, I would like to say that tolerance will make it much more easier, because if you can tolerate what the media is carrying and read in between the lines and look at it from the other perspective, you just may accept what these guys are saying. Look, they are making sense here. I'm not asking for journalists to be weird and carry weird messages. No.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to take it to the fact that it is not just you or the educated elite that are consuming what you are saying. There could be somebody who is already down the road in the name of in terms of mental intelligence that is also going to consume your whatever you're feeding out, and that person might take it to another level that you on your own you may not have anticipated. So there is a need for us to not only balance, but to be very careful as we spread our messages around.
Very well said. Now, as a follow-up to that question, earlier on you talked about being careful when it comes to regulating social media so that freedom of speech is not infringed upon. That being the case, yes, how can you now regulate the common-placed factor of hate speeches on social media?
Well, I think we have to take that particular question and look at what foreign governments and the social media owners are doing.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we all know that Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, and all those things, there is a certain level of language that when you post it in, they will on their own from that other side get it out and cut it out.
You kept using Donald Trump as an example. There was a time when Twitter, now X, completely muted him. He couldn't make comments because of hate speech.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the point where I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I didn't want to call his name out.
Yes.
So they are doing that. They are vetting whatever anybody posts on their platform, and they are looking at it. And if they discover that there is something there that will create a social problem, they will just quickly edit it out or vet it out completely, because they are trying as much as they can to protect their own society. And I think that is the right way to go, because everybody these days plays in the media space in the social media space. And it is not everybody that is 100% sane.
Mm-hmm.
There are some other people that are thinking far to the extreme left. There are people that are thinking far to the extreme right. So you have to balance it. But the balancing of such messages is not really with the content creator, but rather it's really with the platform ownership.
Okay.
So those of them that have the platform they are the ones that have the right to either yank or not. They will look at that and say, okay, no, we think this thing can go. No, we don't want this thing. This thing cannot go, because the implication on the society.
And that's a safe place for us to land today. Thank you so much, Stephen, for being a part of the show today. I do appreciate your insight. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, sir. All right, we've been taking a look at the economic and societal costs of hate speech. And my guest analyst today has been Steve Aya. He is a journalist with This Day newspaper. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that contributed to the show. Until I come your way again, I am Vivian Oguche. Bye for now.
Welcome to On Record.
Every word matters.
What I want to do is to take Nigeria from consumption to production.
My name is Mr. Innocent Chuboma. I started by trading on motorcycle scrappers.
They really ask, how much is the Nigerian life worth?
Policing is everybody's business, not the business of the men on uniform alone.
We will establish student loan 4 years course. Must be 4 years course.
When you dispense, a pharmacist dispenses a drug to a patient, the name of the drug must be written on the envelope.
On Record is a 45-minute program where we discuss the actions, inactions of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview.
Join us 9 a.m. every weekday on your urban lifestyle station, High Impact 102.1 FM. On Record.
Every word